The Bible has many, many wonderful stories. One of my favorites is the story of Hannah, which is found in 1 Samuel and the first 2 chapters. Hannah's story starts out with a lot of grief. Hannah was one of 2 wives of Elkanah. The other wife had several children, but Hannah could not have any babies. She apparently had an infertility problem, and this was something that made her very, very sad. But to compound that, the other wife was good at mocking her and making her feel extra bad because she didn't have any babies, but Peninnah, the other wife, had several. The good thing for Hannah is that her husband loved her and showed that he loved her. When they would go to the temple every year, she would be given a double portion to sacrifice to God. Peninnah would get 1 portion for herself and her children, and Hannah would get a double portion. So Hannah did know that her husband loved her, but still that wasn't enough. She wanted a child. One year when she went to the temple for the annual sacrifices, she was feeling especially bad. The Bible says that she was filled with bitterness of her soul. She went into the temple. She did what we all should do when we have problems. She went to God and poured out her heart to Him. She was weeping, and even though she was praying, her lips were moving, but no words were coming out of her mouth. And Eli, the priest who was in the temple, thought she was drunk. As she prayed, Hannah told God that she was wanting a child, and that if He would give her a son, she vowed that she would dedicate that son to God to serve Him for his entire life. God heard Hannah's prayer and blessed her with a son whom she named Samuel. Samuel means I asked him of the Lord. Hannah fulfilled her vow to God, and after she had weaned Samuel, she took him to the temple and handed him over to the guidance of priest Eli. He spent the rest of his life in service for God and became one of the most respected and influential prophets in the nation of Israel. It was Samuel who anointed both of the first kings of Israel, Saul and David. God transformed Hannah's grief into joy and fulfillment. And He wants to do the same thing for each one of us as well. Sometimes we may be praying over something that is a thing that we want very, very much, and it seems like God is not answering. Waiting is not a curse. When we wait, it can actually become a blessing in the long run. And that is something that we learn from the life and story of Hannah. We need to keep trusting God. When Hannah was blessed with a child, she was also given great responsibility, the responsibility to train this child to love and obey God. She did a good job of that, and part of her secret was that she continued to pray daily for this son. Even after she handed him over to the temple and to priest Eli, she would pray for him every day. I can imagine as she went about her housework, she would pray that God would take care of and bless and guide her son. And God did that. Some of us are blessed with children, and we need to take that responsibility as our calling. In fact, one of our most important callings. We need to make sure that we point our children to their Creator and help them to learn to love and trust Jesus. Even if we aren't married or don't have children, we still need to bring our troubles to Jesus. That is the best place to take Him, and we can all know, like Hannah did, that there is hope in Him. May we all find the joy and contentment that comes from putting our trust in God and waiting for His answers in our lives.